Hi, I'm Sergio Trujillo, choreographer of Ain't Too Proud, and I'm here at Playbill to break down one of my favorite numbers, Cloud 9. This is one of my favorite numbers in this show because of the setup of it. It has so much anticipation. David Ruffin and Eddie have left the group. They formed their own group, but then they decide they all have an encounter, and where they decide that perhaps it's a good idea for them to reunite. So this is the first time they're together in a long time, and we have 3 new members. It is, to me, this is Sergio at his best. I just let myself go when I was choreographing this number. I also looked at it through the lens of today. There's a little bit of hints of hip hop and some pop and lock. I wanted the number to have an evolution from the moment that we start our show, from the way you do the things you do choreographically to this moment. And this is as hip and as close to the period, late period in the period of choreography. I snuck in a little bit of house. And I did some stuff that I had seen in Hullabaloo when Michael Bennett, Bayor Klee were in it. It is truthfully, I remember it all so vividly. We were in Berkeley, California, and we were working on it, and then I was preparing to mount this number, and I just ran into the studio, and I said to the guys, I said, listen, what we did yesterday, forget about that. We're going to start from scratch. The other great thing about this number is the way that all of us, of course, guided by Des McAnuff, our director, by his vision, how we've all come together and we're all telling the same story. And, these sequences in a musical are my favorite because they have a narrative from the beginning to end. They are on tour. In this moment here, the guys, and I think it's important to point out the scenes within this number because they're so instrumental in the storytelling, because the choreography, some of it is about steps, some of it is about performance, some of it is about characters, but also it is essential to include these scenes within this number because, they are the narrative that holds it together. And then we go back to a performance. Again, we have to remember that they're not only performing in one place, but they're going through several. They're going to different cities all over the world. This is the world tour. I remember watching a long time ago at the film of the Library of Film and Television. I remember going and watching them perform in London, as a matter of fact. And I remember they were doing crazy things. And so, I took that information with me. In this moment right here, the guys are traveling up, and we do it's called the 7-mile strut. And we didn't really call it a 7-mile strut until Joanne Jackson joined the show, because he's really from Detroit. This is my favorite moment right here. Boom, chicka chicka, bow, ba ba ba. Oh, okay. So this is. I tell the guys, if you notice, they put their hand on their calf, is because it hurts so much to go back, and I really want them to really release. And this feels really period. It's very contemporary in a way. Again, a mixture of fusion of old and new, and the guys here, they're just living. We have a little bit of. I tell them, go to church, boys, and this is what the boys go to church. I use movement in here that feels very much like they're in church, because I wanted it to feel like a religious experience for all of them. I wanted it to feel like a religious experience for the audience.